Two dudes, one VHS. Rewind the time, no need to guess. Pop it in, press play, don't stress. It's a movie night, pure retro mess. Old tapes, big last memories flash. We're kicking it back when classics last. So grab some snacks and don't you fret. Two dudes, one VHS.
Hey guys, it's Roma. You got
And
Alex
Alex.
over here. It's Two Dudes, One VHS. Today we're doing a review of a movie that we watched a long time ago, 1993. I think I was 12 years old, and it was one of many action movies that I watched growing up in the 90s. It was the Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes, and Sandra Bullock. You got anything to say about that, Alex?
Well, you said it already. Stallone, Snipes. This is a big movie. Let's get into this. Do you have a favorite Stallone movie? I think I know what you're gonna say.
You already know probably what I'm gonna say. It's it's gonna be the Rocky movies. Always has been. It was a great movie growing up as an Italian heritage, and as soon as you watch it, Rocky, 5-foot guy, he could beat up anybody as an Italian type of thing. Every Italian thought the same thing. I could beat that guy. I could beat that guy. So yeah, it was Rocky. Rocky was one of my favorites.
Yeah, okay, I figured. I decided to stay away from the Rocky and the Rambo on my selection,
Yeah.
and I couldn't narrow it down to. I got 3: Oscar, which I want to do an episode of.
Okay,
Cobra,
Cobra was good. Yeah, that was
loved
good.
Cobra, and Over the Top. His old
Yeah, that was good too.
wrestling one.
That was a really good one too. Yeah,
Really like those ones.
yeah.
Okay, what about Sandra? We've
Sandra
already done one of her
We've already
movies.
done one of her movies, and if everybody goes back, we already know it was one of the worst reviews we've done, and also our little Instagram reels, both of us did those on the snap without really knowing what we were going to say to each other, and both paid homage to it. Sandra Bullock's great in this movie. She plays a ditzy cop, which I don't know, it kind of fits her personality.
I really liked her in this.
I did too. It was really good. Wesley Snipes was a really good villain, but Wesley Snipes plays a great villain. Like, I love Wesley Snipes. Like, my favorite movie of his were the Blade movies, the first, second, and the third one. Does a really good Blade. Really wish that they would bring him back. Obviously, Deadpool, they brought him back, but actually bring him back into a fourth series or fourth movie to basically legitimately kill him off, kind of thing. But yeah, he was great. Stallone did really good in this one. Classic Stallone. He played Sylvester Stallone like he does in every other movie type of thing, but it was really, really good. Also, there's other people in here too. There's one guy in here that I'm going to pay homage to you, which was Benjamin Bratt. He's in one of your favorite movies of all time, Blood In, Blood Out. Great character in here as well. He plays also another ditzy cop. Mind you, every cop in this movie is really ditzy, and they're soft spoken, and it's not really what you would normally see in a police kind of movie, right?
Yeah. We'll get it. I'm sure we'll get into our thoughts on that in our final review at the end.
One of my favorite comedian was Dennis Leary growing up. He was, Dennis Leary, Andrew Dice Clay, Eddie Murphy, like Raw Delirious era. Great comedians. Loved it. He did a really good job in here as well. Then there's Nigel Hawthorne in here. I haven't seen him in any other movies that he's done, but he has like his IMDb 120 mentions that he's had. Really good guy. And then Bob Gutton, when I was looking up his IMDb, the first thing I saw when you see his picture, I was thinking of Palpatine from Star Wars. I was like, no. This is a guy from Shawshank Redemption, not Star Wars. So really star-studded cast, to be honest. There's a lot of people in here that either they started off in this movie or they branched off from other movies and made it into this movie. It was really done. The director, I've never heard of him before, Marco Brambilla.
I had never either. I looked at his IMDb, and he's done one other big movie, and that was Excess Baggage with Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever
all
seen
the other
that one either.
credits. He did a lot of shorts, a lot of music videos.
Yep.
So clearly he wasn't into the movies.
No,
so
apparently,
but he did great on this.
He did fantastic on this. I was looking at the dates of when this was, like the years, like 1996 is like, it came out in 1993, but they were showing it that it was 1996 instead of 1993. LA hasn't changed very much since then.
all that footage in the beginning of the movie is all from the real riots that happened in 92.
Yeah.
which is scary
That
that it
was
was that bad.
yeah. It was yeah. So like, and then like the years like 2032. That's not far away from where we are
Where
right
we are
now,
now. Yeah.
right? So it's
What
like
is 4 or 5, 6 years away?
6 years away. Are we going to see the flying cars? Are we going to see? Well, we got the self-driving cars already. They don't do a very good job, but we got the self-driving cars already.
All right. Should we jump right in?
Let's jump right into it. So I got my notes are a little bit sporadic all over the place, so we'll go from there. So we start off obviously with a cut scene of the massive building in Los Angeles that's destroyed. You got all these fires and everything all over the place, and the helicopters are around this building with Simon Phoenix, who is Wesley Snipes, and then Sylvester Stallone, who is Spartan. So you got Spartan going into the building. They are scanning the building and they see that there is warm bodies in the building, and it's a hostage situation. And Simon Phoenix is saying everybody's been evacuated, which he knows nobody's been evacuated. And the first scene you see is a fight scene of them fighting and then a massive explosion. That explosion was kind of cool. I don't know if it was actually little mini versions of the building that they just blew up. So like those effects, like we had that question, CGI versus practical effects. That to me is like the best practical effect. You have little miniatures and you blow them up and you got the cameras there. That to me is absolutely awesome. So after that explosion, they capture Simon Phoenix, and firefighters basically search the wreckage and they find, I can't remember how many bodies it was, a crap ton of dead bodies. And they basically blame both Simon Phoenix and Spartan, and they both get cryogenically frozen at the same time.
But so what's really weird is Phoenix is really pushing that Spartan did it. He did it. He knew he was in there and they were in there and he didn't care. Why are they believing him?
Because Spartan was like, even like his boss knew that he was off the hinges, right? Like he knew that he was, but he got his man. He always did the job and got the bad guy.
But when he's saying, no, I didn't, he's lying. And he's saying, oh no, he murdered them in cold blood. Wouldn't you take the side of the reputable police officer over the psychopathic criminal?
Yeah, you're right. But if the evidence, the way that the evidence portrayed itself, right? There's no recording, there's no video, there's no nothing. So it's like a he said, she said, right? So I'm going to say the failure was the court system at this point.
Yes. Forensics.
Forensics, exactly.
Because they could have probably done a little bit of looking into it and seen that Spartan didn't kill these people.
I guess. But how badly blown up were the bodies? How much could forensics really find out, right?
There'd be lots of pieces to look at.
There would be lots of pieces. It would be a nice puzzle to put together. I'd be honest. That's true. But again, like how much you got to remember, it's 1996 money and it's in LA. Money isn't huge. They won't spend that kind of money on something that they can see as closed cased. Right.
All right.
Again, that's a theory. We don't know. It's a theory. Again, this is the whole point of these reviews is we each have our own theories. I'm thinking that they just said, screw it. We're not putting these puzzle pieces together. He did it. We need to figure out a way to get him off. And obviously his lawyer failed because he got frozen along with Simon Phoenix, right? They're both frozen in time for, what is it, 20, 30 years, 40 years before they get unfrozen?
I think it's 30. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the scene that I want to talk about. Why did they have to show the butt scenes while they're frozen or while they're freezing them?
Because
what was the point of that? What was the point of that? Right?
It's the same as any boob shots in the 80s.
And apparently, and I don't know if you had the same cut that I had, but apparently the one that I watched shows the frontal portion as well.
Right. Fun. I don't know if you knew about this, but so they had to create a mold of Sly.
Okay.
Because obviously it wasn't him in the ice cube. It was a mold of him.
Okay.
And apparently he requested for an additional length to be added. He wanted that frontal portion to be bigger.
I don't remember that the first time I watched it.
Well, I think I do remember it. I think I remember seeing like maybe a little too much shadow or something, but
I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, I don't remember that.
That's a lot of bush.
Yeah. This is before shaving was a thing, I guess. That's true. So yeah. So like they freeze them, everything's said and done. And now flash forward to 2032 where you see, what did they call it? San Angeles?
Yeah.
Yeah. San Angeles. So they
merger of
San
Francisco.
Diego. No, San Diego
and
Los
Angeles.
So peaceful city. There's no crime. It's clean. It's sterile. Everything is weird in my opinion because it's
Right.
just some of the stuff that they're dressed in. We'll get to the other guy, the kimono guy. Like I don't get the kimono. I have no idea, but there's no crime. So then my other thing is if there's no crime, what are the police for?
Well, there's some crime because we see vandalism. We get to meet what are they called? The scraps, the underground city people.
Right.
So they do still need police for that. Maybe traffic violations, speeding or something. I don't know. Clearly, again, we're going to see there is the swear word monitoring.
Yep.
So something, maybe police is needed for that.
Right. Right. It just seems weird because it says right as soon as they show it, like crime free for the last 20 years. So what's the point of having the cops? But again, you're correct. The rat people or the people under the ground, whatever you want to call them, they weren't really doing anything wrong. They just needed, we'll get to that, but they needed food. They were starving. So now we go to a scene where it's a parole hearing for Simon Phoenix. So they thaw him out for the routine parole hearing and he's calm, collective. And as soon as he's all thawed out and wide awake, he kills everybody. He stabs a guy in the neck with a pen. He just destroys everybody that's in that building in his vicinity on his way out. He escapes the facility and, he goes to a telephone booth, I'm assuming at that point. I don't know what that was with the computer keyboard.
Wasn't it an ATM?
Was it an ATM or was it a telephone booth?
Oh no, it was a directory.
Oh, right, a directory. Like his fingers, he's like a hacker. Like what
Right.
the hell was going on? He's literally looking at it like, it's like, I could play the piano like Ray Charles.
He was so great in this role.
Yeah.
I really believed him to be that character.
Yeah.
I read that they offered this to Jackie Chan first because Stallone wanted Phoenix to be Jackie Chan. But Chan said no because of his audience.
Yeah.
He didn't want to portray a villain like that. He felt he would
I don't think
lose a lot of his fans.
I don't think he would have done a good
No,
Simon Phoenix.
Yeah. Snipes plays the great craziness of Phoenix well.
Yep. And very psychotic. It was really good. But like all the things that he did to all those cops, like he's searching up 187, he's searching up all these things and kills the guy with the graffiti machinery and then like kills all the and then the cops are coming out and he's like, they're looking at, so now I'm looking at this now with our Chat GPT, Gemini, the AI stuff. And you got the cops that have that little device and they're like, he's being disrespectful. What do I do now? And it's like, I'm seeing that more so now with AI that people are doing the exact same things. It's like, they're using that for day-to-day interactions.
Right. What
So
to do. Yeah.
we're getting there. We're 2032 is not that far away based on what we're seeing right now. But he gets away with all of this and he drives off in the police car and everybody's doesn't know what to do. And the next scene you see is Spartan getting thawed out because he's the only person that's ever caught Simon Phoenix. And, it's been 36 years. So it was 36 years that they got thawed and they bring him back to life. Now, Spartan came back the way that Simon Phoenix came back. He was vibrant, wide awake, ready to go as soon as he was thawed out. When they brought Spartan back, he looked like he was drugged up. What was the difference in the thawing process between both of them?
Well, we later find out that Phoenix's was rigged,
Well,
right?
Don't get me wrong, I know that it's rigged, but like the
maybe-
thawing process should be the same.
Maybe something due to that. Maybe it's chemically altered. I don't know. Something where they want them to be drowsy and all out of it when they get thawed out.
I guess. So to me, it just didn't make sense that one was, I get that Simon Phoenix or Wesley Snipes was altered his DNA, same with Spartan Stallone, but the process should be the same. Why does one look like he's drugged up and the other one looks like he's wide awake?
Yeah.
Unless somebody inside the facility that got killed by Simon Phoenix gave him like a pick-me-up as he was getting thawed out. Right? That was the only thing I can think of. There was somebody else involved that we never saw. So at this point now, they thaw him out. They give him the deal saying that, if you do this for us, we'll reduce your sentence and you'll come right out back into the force, all that stuff. And he's coming in with his suit and swearing right off the bat, stating that this is too tight. And you see the new technology with the swearing, you You have been fined 1 credit. You have been fined 1 credit. You have been fined 1 credit. And this is where he first meets Lena Huxley, who is Sandra Bullock, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Isn't it Leanna? Is it Lena?
Lenina? Sorry, Lenina. Sorry, Lenina. Weird name.
Well, it is the future.
It is a future.
Now, did you also know that somebody else was cast in this role before Sandra?
No, I did not. Who are they thinking of casting?
No, they had cast Lori Petty. Do you know who that is? She
Doesn't
was
ring a bell.
Tank Girl.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
She was in League of Their Own as the little sister. So they had to do a bunch of reshoots when
Really?
they switched it to Sandra. So it's kind of like a Eric Stoltz Back to the
Back
Future
to the Future
situation.
situation.
They didn't film the whole movie, but they had already filmed some and
It just didn't work
fired
out.
her, and yeah, it didn't work out, and they switched it.
I wonder why.
Yeah, better.
So Lenina, I don't know how to pronounce this name. We're going to call her Huxley. She's fascinated with 20th century culture and absolutely in love with Spartan. Like, she wants to know everything that he had done 20th century. She basically knows him from front to back because she's read everything about him, and she's like a little puppy dog for him. Like, she's always up his ass the entire movie. It's, again, Sandra Bullock plays a great ditzy cop in this movie, and the way that she's portrayed in this, like, is this before what was that other movie that she was, is this before or after Speed?
I want to say same time, because this was 93.
Yeah.
Yeah, Speed I think came out in 93, maybe 94.
So like going from that kind of acting to ditzy acting, I'm like, what happened?
She was so funny.
She was very funny.
The lines were well written, when she always screws up all these sayings.
Yep.
Let's go blow these guys, that kind of thing.
They
It
can
just
shovel it.
Yeah, so good. And she acted it out well.
Very well.
Very believable.
So they're at the cop station. They're still doing all this stuff. They're trying to figure everything out. And Spartan basically states he's going to go for weapons. He's legit. That's his first option. He's going to go for weapons. But this is also where we get introduced, I think, the first time to the 3 seashells, which today I have no idea how the 3 seashells work. I was Googling it. I was using ChatGPT. I was trying to go down the rabbit hole for the 3 seashells. Nobody really knows what it is, including the directors or the writers who wrote it. They just said it was something that they could put into the movie to make people think about it, and we really don't know what it is. It's now a fan theory of what everything is with the 3 seashells.
I read that some people think that they use them like chopsticks, where you like scoop you scoop the poo out of your butt and then empty it. But that's got to be way wrong.
When I'm seeing 3 seashells, I'm thinking like just the half of a seashell, and like my theory is that they would scoop 1, nothing, throw it in the toilet, scoop 2, still some stuff on it, scoop 3, and that's what I mean. Like that's what I was thinking, right? Like it's a cupping kind of situation.
Okay, in my head, so I'm picturing you're sitting at the toilet, and like right beside you is a little ledge with 3 seashells. They were like the top of the shells,
right?
Maybe whatever, blue, a green, and I don't know, white. In my head, they're just buttons. That the toilet is just futuristic. Each one does something. Maybe it's like a bidet. One does a shot of water. One is an air dryer. Just different functionalities to wipe. So your hands free.
Yeah.
Essentially.
That's a good theory. That's a good theory.
That's my only thought, is that because we see Rob Schneider after, which we didn't mention was in this, laughing at, you didn't know how to, like, they're just buttons, is in my head. Like,
yeah.
How do you not know how to use them? Push them,
Yeah. And then he does his swearing. He's like, got my toilet paper.
Yes. Yeah. And like, you see those papers as he's grabbing them. They're not soft papers.
No. And they're not even like Sobeys or like the receipt paper, that thin receipt paper. No. It's the thick paper.
Yeah. And you've been in an ice cube for 30 plus years. Things have backed up. Like for those listening that have kids and did that very first diaper change in the beginning, where it's disgustingly black, tar, gross, like that's what I'm envisioning is going to happen after 30 years of not taking a crap.
I guess that's true too, but you also got to realize though hasn't eaten anything for 32 years or 36 years, whatever it was, right?
Yeah, I don't know how that works when you're in cryo. Is there like an IV or something?
Is there any bowel movements going through? Or?
they giving you any nutrients?
Yeah, they didn't really explain how the cryogenics
Yeah, I
work.
don't know how cryos work really. Because you must be getting some sort of nutrients, or else wouldn't your body shrivel up?
Well, not if you're frozen. How would your body shrivel up if you're frozen?
Yeah, but how does I'm no scientist. How does
Like your whole
it
body is
actually
frozen. Your
work?
blood, your organs, your
So
tissue
absolutely everything, even what's the word?
decomposition. Like when you
No, no, no,
decompose.
no. No, no, not that one. Stupid English. But like, really, the ice just stops everything?
I'm thinking it's a theory, but I'm assuming that's what would happen because like how would they put IV into you if your whole body is frozen? Like everything is frozen, right? So like including like your veins, your intestine, like everything in your body is completely frozen. There's no circulation anymore. So how would they provide you the nutrients?
Yeah.
How would they provide you anything? And again, like we said, 30, maybe they made him, they did the, colonoscopy prep, empty out his whole body before he gets cryogenically frozen. But he could have not, and you're right. He still had a mean shit going before he had to
Yeah.
go. And then he has to go as soon as he gets out, right?
Very strange. I'm gonna need to look into it
Yeah.
because now I'm
Yeah.
very curious.
Is cryogenesis even a thing today? Do we know?
Well, I don't know. Isn't Walt Disney frozen somewhere?
I don't know. Like that was something that we heard when we were kids, and it was a rumor that he was frozen and he was stored underneath Disneyland and stuff like that. So like I don't know if that's true or if it's fake, but
Who knows?
kind of cool. So they all go on to the next scene. Phoenix is at the museum and he's looking for weapons and he's looking at all the stuff from the 20th century and he's like, I don't want this shit. I want the futuristic stuff. Where is the futuristic stuff? Again,
One thing I noticed, have you ever played Diablo? As soon as he walks into looking at the weapons in the Hall of Violence, the font they used is the Diablo font.
Diablo font. Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Like he's going to the 20th century stuff, but he's not looking for that. But again, like his charisma, his character, perfect way of acting that he's looking for stuff in the future. Like he's looking to cause damage. He really wants to wreak havoc. He doesn't care about the stuff from 20th century. He wants the new shit. And sure as shit, Spartan's 10, 20 minutes behind him. This is where you get your first action fight scene in the future between Snipes and Stallone. And these two actors are the basically male action pack of the 90s. You had Stallone, Snipes, Schwarzenegger. Who else was in the 90s? Dolph Lundgren. Well, Van Damme. Like these guys are the pinnacle of action movies. And this was not even held lightly. This was a great fight scene. It was a great starting fight scene between both of them. It showed how each of them one is a little bit more than the other because again, we find out later that Wesley Snipes' DNA has been altered, but you still had Stallone who had the street smarts to figure out how to finish him off kind of thing.
Right.
They battle it out first. I think that scene was a solid 12 to 15 minutes, which is fantastic. And then you see the futuristic gun. The first thing that he does is shoots the gun and then he goes to take a second shot and it has to recharge and he's losing his mind. He's like, what the hell is this shit? This is the future. Only one shot. So it was a great scene for the fighting scene. You had the car chase afterwards for it. Again, futuristic vehicles, self-driving. I find them weird. I don't know why they would make it, especially in a police chase, a self-driving police chase. They should have just drove. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Well,
The
they
car's not
haven't
meant
been
for 20th century street chase or car
they
chase.
haven't been trained for
Well, again, I
street
know, but
chases, right?
you had Spartan there. He could have done the car chase.
He tried. Remember, he sat down
That's right.
and he was like, "Nope."
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's right.
He
That's
decided
right.
to ride in the back seat. It was
That's
too
right.
much for him.
So it's like it was weird. I didn't like the car chase, although there was some good moments. I just didn't like it. Culture shock. So Spartan learns, that's there. So then Spartan gets invited to a special dinner with Huxley and what's the guy's name? The leader. Oh, I can't remember his name.
Cocteau?
Sorry?
Cocteau, I think it was.
Was it Cocteau?
I think so.
I didn't write that down in my notes.
Like, yeah, the big surprise ending guy.
Yeah. So gets invited to this dinner and he's getting dressed all fancy now. the fancy gear with the cut off no sleeves, looked like just a vest, a tie. It looked like a Chippendale kind of situation to me. I did not like that. But the thing that was weird was the Taco Bell. So out of all things that survived, it was a Taco Bell dinner. And I'm thinking,
Right.
as soon as I saw the Taco Bell dinner, I'm thinking, all right, they're going to get chalupas. They're going to get, the Crunchwrap Supreme, stuff like that. And then you see these little dinky, like fancy meals getting put on the table for everybody. Like, what the hell is this? When does Taco Bell go from, the $1.99 menu of soft tacos to fancy schmancy meals in 36 years? And how did it survive compared to McDonald's, Burger King?
So, yeah, I find that super funny too because they survived the fast food wars. But here in like real life,
Yeah.
how often do you see a standalone Taco Bell?
I think in Edmonton alone, there's probably maybe 3 that I know of. There's one literally close by my place on 97th Street. There's one downtown, and there's
Yeah, okay. Wait. So the one on 97,
yeah.
it's not a standalone Taco Bell.
No, sorry, it's not. It's combined
Yeah.
with KFC. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So it's not
I'm
standalone.
talking about standalone. They've got the money for it. They can have a whole restaurant. I can't think of a single one here in town.
You know what? You're right. They're all KFC
97
Taco Bell.
is a dual. 118 by the Coliseum is a dual.
Duo. And then there's one on the south side that you're right. It's a duo as well. It's a KFC Taco Bell.
So for Demolition Man to predict back in 93,
Yeah.
they had to pick a fast food company for this gag. They're like, Taco Bell's going to win. And when did Godzilla come out? Because Taco Bell was huge with the Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
So it was early 90s too, I think, maybe 96.
Mid 90s, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Taco Bell was a big thing back
But out
then.
of all
Little
fast
dog.
foods, they're gonna pick the one that makes you like lava out your butt.
Well, McDonald's at the time was still kid orientated.
True.
Right? So they didn't predict that we'd get the McDonald's that we have now. They thought McDonald's would be meant like Ronald McDonald this whole time, which they screwed us over and took him away. And
Yeah.
so
Hamburger,
hipster now.
Grimace. Yeah, I know.
But they chose Taco Bell. And in reality, Taco Bell did the poor that they couldn't even afford standalone buildings.
Yeah.
They had to partner with KFC.
Yeah, you're right.
And then to have it be Taco Bell, like you said, the flaming farts and everything from Taco Bell, they've said that anything spicy and salty is illegal.
Yeah.
2032.
So how the hell did Taco Bell survive?
How does Taco Bell survive? Because you can't eat one of those without a package of the Taco Bell hot sauce.
Yeah, you're right. You
It's
can't.
not edible without that hot sauce on there.
You're absolutely correct. The only thing I ever really enjoyed at Taco Bell was their fries supremes. That was it.
I don't like sour cream, so I got the cheesy fries.
Well, I guess it was similar, like, but the cheese had flavor. You didn't really need hot sauce.
That's right. Yeah.
To eat it, right? Whereas everything else, like the tacos, everything needed hot sauce. You had to have some kind of hot sauce on it. You're right.
So it's very funny that
it doesn't make sense now that we're looking back at it. It's like they chose Taco Bell, and Taco Bell, you're right, is done the worst out of the food franchises.
Apparently in Europe, in all the releases of the movie, it was Pizza Hut. They had reshot it.
Oh.
Taco Bell wasn't familiar enough in Europe, so they used Pizza Hut, which
I
I would have loved. Like, I'd love to find a copy of a European DVD of it to see the differences because they actually reshot it. Now, I guess the food will come out and look the same.
But again, too, that's another thing, too. If they use Pizza Hut, look at where Pizza Hut is now.
Yeah, exactly.
They're turning
all those fancy buildings with the fancy roofs.
They're all turning into daycares now. Yeah, exactly.
Gone. Yeah.
Gone.
So funny.
Yeah. Weird. So basically, Demolition Man, 2 predictions, 0. You guys are 0-0, 0-2 right now. So here we go. So this is where we now see our first iteration of, what are we going to call them? The rat people, underground people? What were they called?
Yeah, I don't know.
Remember what they were called in
I think they were called Scraps.
The Scraps?
I think it's what they called them, yeah.
So this is where we first see the Scraps, emerging from the sewers, and they go into the Taco Bell and they're stealing the food. But they're making it seem as though they're evil and they need to be stopped. And, like Spartan is fighting them because he doesn't know any better. He thinks they're bad guys, but then sees one, can't remember if it was a lady or maybe it was a guy with really long hair that was just holding on to containers of food. That's all they wanted was food. and he let him go. And
Right. Yeah.
the bad guy's like, what are you doing? He's like, they just wanted food. No, they're scraps of the world. They're nothing. They're nothing to us. We need to get rid of them. And like, this is where Spartan's basically telling them, you know nothing about nothing. Like, this is where we know that, not know, but we can see that the leader of San Los Angeles is not really a good leader. First iteration of it. And it doesn't go well for either one of them. They just go to the next scene where they're driving back home, and we hear the first futuristic music as they're driving home from Taco Bell with Huxley, and it's commercial jingles.
Love it. Love it.
Now, again, so now we're at 0 and 3 for Demolition Man, because who the hell is going to listen to jingles as their music? Of course you are. Of course you are.
I will like even right now when we're driving around, even if it's just me and the wife, music might be playing, but it's only when that commercial comes on, and we don't have any sponsors yet, so I'm not going to say what songs they were.
Yeah.
But the specific heating company comes on.
Yep.
I start singing their jingle.
Are you freaking kidding me?
It's catchy. And Farmer's hot dogs. Great.
You're absolutely ridiculous.
Even kids with chicken pox like hot dogs. Farmer.
So okay, so I guess we'll give them 1. So it's 2.
No, because we don't have a station of. Although, remember, this is still in 6 years from now. So
it is 6 years from now, so it could potentially happen. So we'll give them the 1 for now. So they got 1 out of 3. 1 out of 3 because we got you who actually enjoys it. There's probably other people out there that enjoy the jingles as well. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there are some jingles that get stuck in my head, but it's not one of those things where I'm gonna go out of my way just to listen to it and turn the volume up when the commercial comes on. Because now I'm picturing you when that specific song comes on, you're turning up the volume to listen to it.
Good song.
So this is, where are we going? So drive home, back to the hotel, and Huxley asks Spartan if he would like to have intercourse. This was so again, 1993 release. Came out probably on VHS in 1994. My parents both loved Sylvester Stallone. Watching this movie, this was one of those scenes where mom's telling me to cover my eyes because they get this helmet and they put one on Sylvester Stallone, one on Sandra Bullock, and Sylvester Stallone's eyes are closed and he can see her. He can see everything, but the noises and the enunciation and moaning and stuff like that was highly inappropriate for somebody my age at that time. And he's trying to be like, saying that he wants to have sex, but she's like, gross, that's not how you do it anymore. So apparently in this future, they no longer have STDs. They no longer have children the old-fashioned way. They do it basically test tube babies. They do genetically altered babies.
They don't even touch each other.
Yeah, they
Remember
don't even.
We saw the high fives.
The high fives, yeah. So there's no interaction. So do they hug?
We didn't see any hugging.
Any hugging?
So this is potentially a world that got COVID, and
my God,
we shouldn't touch each other, and they stuck to it, whereas we went back to normal. This is like an Avengers type timeline branch where they got COVID and they kept not touching each other.
I didn't even think of that. Now that you brought that up, this is potentially 2021. There may be a society out there right now that is trying to do this as we speak. Wow, you just blew my mind right there, actually. Because now that makes a whole lot of sense. They don't touch each other. There's no crime. There's no nothing. They're just there.
I did like when they sat down to have intercourse.
Yeah.
Were they 6 feet apart?
Yeah, they were. He was on one step and she was on the other step. Oh my God, that just fucking blew my mind. Okay, now they got 2 out of 4 because they predicted the future on that one. 100% they did if that's the case. So after this, they wake up and then there's so this is going to be homage to our Die Hard booby count number 1, where John Spartan is knitting a sweater to apologize, or a scarf to apologize to Huxley, and he gets a phone call and it's a chick with basically nothing on, and you see both of her boobies, and she made the wrong call.
Predicting video calls.
Yep, they predicted that. That's true. We have that.
We do all the time now.
So wakes up the next morning, and this is where we find out about the Simon Phoenix DNA alteration. He gives Huxley the sweater or the scarf and tells her, you know, I knitted this. He's like, I didn't know what a slip knot was. He just started doing it, and I just made you this sweater. And she basically said, your rehabilitation is working. And he asks her, what the hell is that? So basically, when he got rehabilitated, it was knitting. What the hell was it? Knitting, photography, and something
I
else.
didn't
There was
write it
there
down.
was three things. So when they were looking up Simon Phoenix, it was they didn't have access, so she had to hack the system. She got access, and he was trained for military training, kung fu, karate, freaking like every single thing. And 187, which 187 there is murder, death, kill,
Ridiculous.
murder, death, kill. So
So 187's actually, we didn't chat about this. I was going to leave it to the end, but 187's was referenced in the past too. So that's just the police code for murders.
yeah,
Because back when it was taking place in 96, they did talk about 187.
right. And that's actually a legit police code, is it not?
I believe so, yeah.
I believe it is. 187 is what the actual police code is. So they do all this, and now Spartan is getting kind of leery of the leader of San Angeles, however you want to call it, and asks for video evidence of a specific night that he was with Simon Phoenix, because Simon Phoenix had the gun pointed to his head and he walked away. Simon Phoenix does not just walk away. He kills you. Plain and simple. That's what Spartan says. He kills you. This is where he says that he's not in the building, and you see the kimono guy coming out. I love the actor. He's a great guy. I hated that kimono throughout the entire movie. I don't understand the kimonos. Don't get everybody else in the movie is wearing them. I don't understand why that was their choice of outfit. It's stupid. It really is stupid.
Or perhaps maybe there's something to do with the Japanese. Maybe they've highly influenced all the technology, or maybe they took over. Maybe at some point we're just ruled by Japanese and it just became a norm to wear
It's
them.
just so weird. It's kind of like that. I can't remember what the movie is where they used they use Crocs. Like the guy's from the past, he was frozen in time and he's the smartest person in the world. And they use, oh, what the hell is it called? God. He becomes the president of the United States. Oh, I can't remember. Stupidocracy or something like that. I don't know. They use Crocs. It was a joke, and now Crocs are actually a thing. Don't get me wrong. I like Crocs. They're comfy, but kimonos are not. I don't like them. To anybody out there that likes kimonos, I'm sorry. I just do not like them. In my opinion, it was poor choice. So Spartan now wants to investigate the underground to find the underground society. So him, Huxley, and Blood In, Blood Out. I can't remember what his actual name is in the show, in the movie.
I didn't write it down either.
I didn't write it down. They all go underground to find the society, the scrappers, whatever we call them. They go underground, they find the society, and Spartan sees burgers and he wants to buy a burger. And he buys this burger and he's like, I don't think that's cow. Do you see where the cows are down here? And then speaks to the lady in Spanish, and rata. It's rats. And he's still eating it. Eating it like nothing.
Yeah.
It's good. He hasn't had a burger. They don't have burgers in the new society. I guess, if it works, it works, right? And this is where he first meets Edgar Friendly, which is the guy that is supposedly the villain in the show, or to the actual villain in the show, sorry, which is Dennis Leary. Again, great comedian, awesome actor. He tells Spartan the truth that they were forced underground because they didn't want to be part of the rules and regulations of San Los Angeles. It was basically communist kind of thing. If you didn't like it, get out. The whole master plan was to just have them all killed, and I just lost my train of thought. Have them all killed, and then San Los Angeles would be peaceful.
Stop saying San Los Angeles.
What is it?
San Angeles.
Whatever. San Angeles, San Los Angeles, same thing.
It's not.
So this is where Spartan now is underground, but with newcomers. He has a bunch of other people that he got thought out that were his partners, allies, whatever you want, to help him kill basically Edgar Friendly to finish the job. Great scenes, great fights. My favorite part was the actual, what was it, a 1967 Nova SS, fully restored. It was such a great car. I'm assuming it was a Nova SS. I don't remember, but beautiful muscle car. Compared to the futuristic cars that were in this movie, absolutely gorgeous. I love that car. It reminded me of the Supernatural car. vice versa.
Okay.
Like Supernatural, it was such a good car. And then the actual car chase of Huxley learning to drive a gas car basically on the whim, and Spartan trying to get Simon Phoenix and basically apprehend him. The jump scene where at the end of the car chase, when Stallone is in the car and then the whole car fills with foam, I'm
Right.
thinking, why don't they do that now? Wouldn't that work? Like spray foam, like it hardens in what, like 2 minutes? Not even? Couldn't they just do that in vehicles now?
I just don't understand how it actually works. Because let's say it's got nozzles everywhere that pop out and start filling it. What if it goes in your mouth or in your nose? Like,
I guess.
all of a sudden you stop breathing. Like, it just didn't seem practical to me. Like, I don't know how it works.
It just seemed cool at the time. It's like, why don't they think of something like that now? Like airbag goes off to stop you from getting it in your mouth and your nose, but then the rest of the car fills with spray foam. Wouldn't that be cool? I don't know. I just thought that was cool, and it needs to happen. Like that yeah, Ford, GM, all
Get
you
on it.
Toyotas, you guys need to get on this. Like it
No,
legit, you guys
you.
need to get on this.
They're casting for Dragon's Den right now. Go.
I'm no scientist. I don't know this stuff. I don't know the chemistry behind this. Well, Simon Phoenix's mission failed. He didn't kill Edgar Friendly. Uh, whatever his name is, Kato, whatever, is telling him that he needs to kill Edgar Friendly. This is the scene that we see now. Simon Phoenix is pointing the gun at him, but he can't pull the trigger. He literally cannot pull the trigger because it's in his DNA now that he cannot kill him. So what does he do? He gets one of his cronies to kill him because they didn't think about that. So now he's dead, and now Simon Phoenix is in power, and lo and behold, Kimono guy comes out again. He's like, I could be your assistant. I could be your friend. Like, my God, he annoyed me so much. Even if I saw him just the one time, I just couldn't stand him. I know
He
it's
was
one of those things. He was the most annoying part of the movie for me.
I felt like he was almost the same character that he plays in Beetlejuice.
Yes. Yeah.
The Otho in that. I don't know. I just felt like very similar. Maybe he plays the same part in every movie he does. I don't know.
So now they're basically final fight. I'm at the final scene, or close to the final scene, where, Spartan's going to find Simon Phoenix. He knocks out Huxley with the little wand. Now, again,
Yeah.
that's another thing that we didn't hit on, was the wand. Are those
Pretty
stun?
cool.
Are those stun guns? Or are those what are the
I'm
the cattle prods?
Well, I guess it would be a mix of the two, right?
A mix of the two.
It's just probably the next step in evolution for a taser,
Yeah, it's kind of
rather
cool.
than actually harming somebody with the electricity. It just boom,
Knocks them right out.
knocks them out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. We didn't hit on
Pretty
those.
cool.
There was a lot of futuristic stuff that I did not hit on. My apologies.
But again, they've got those, so there must be crime in which they would need to knock people out.
Well, again, that's where I'm assuming where you said the scrappers, the people underground, that's where they would use it for, because those are the ones that are the most violent, let's say.
Yeah.
Because out of everybody that we've seen in the entire movie, other than Simon Phoenix and the scrappers, nobody's really violent per se.
Right.
So there's nothing really that they're going to be using it on other than those two groups that I could see. But again, like the cops, it still doesn't make sense. Whatever. We're getting off topic here now. It doesn't make sense to have the cops if they are crime free, as they say. Even though the scrap people, underground people are there, they're not really doing anything. They're not really trained for any of that information anyways, right? They weren't trained for any of the stuff for Simon Phoenix. What training do they have for the underground society? Same thing, no training. But again, off topic. You got Simon Phoenix now, who's in the cryo lab. He's defrosting Jeffrey Dahmer. He's defrosting all these people because he says that. And, Spartan's on his way there to basically stop Simon Phoenix at this point. This is one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen. The special effects, the practical effects, whatever you want to call it, very well choreographed fight scenes, very well street smart versus program smart fight scenes, where you had John Spartan, he was a boxer. You could see that that's all he had. He had the street fighting skills. Basically, it was his inner Rocky that was fighting in this fight scene. And then you had Snipes, who was army trained, military trained kind of fight scene. And it was an uneven battle in the beginning. And then later on in the end, closer to the end, Spartan used his brain more than his brawn to finish off what needed to be done. And the best part of the actual whole fight scene was when liquid's all over the place and you see the one little whatever that freaking
Yeah,
tube
the
is
little
with
cryo
the little
thing.
cryo bead in it, and you see him smashing it on the ground in the slow motion scene of that cryo thing coming up, falling straight down onto the floor, and everything starts freezing. And Simon Phoenix with I can't remember, it was an ice pick or a bar of something going to stab Sylvester Stallone, and from his feet up, he's starting to freeze, and Stallone grabs onto the machine, and he's going around in a carousel, and you see the freezing of Wesley Snipes going all the way up, his face and everything. And there you could see that it was a little off, like the practical effects or whatever effects that they used were kind of off of the recording to the actual ice sculpture that they had or whatever it was, styrofoam sculpture. But again, it was still well done. And then Stallone comes around, smashes his head, pops it off, and shatters everywhere.
Yeah,
That was epic
cool.
ending. Absolute epic ending. Greatest ending I've ever seen in an action movie in my life. I thought that was awesome. Your thoughts?
Well, I would say the best ending of this movie is when Sly finally kisses Sandra and she's all like, "Whoa, is this what physical contact is really like?"
I was getting to that part, but yeah. We'll jump ahead. That was actually a really good one, and she really wants to do more of it.
That was so funny.
My other theory on this too is I know he talked about his family in the beginning of the movie. I want to run something. If you were frozen for 36 years, would you want to find your family?
I guess it depends how old I was when I got frozen.
Well, 36 years ago, right? So let's say right
Yeah, but
now.
was I a teen?
No,
Was I
I'm
50
saying more
already?
along the same
Was-
kind of concept right now. Stallone's age, so we'll say mid 40s.
So wait, he's supposed to be that's what you're assuming? He's
I'm assuming
mid-40s
he's
in the
like
movie?
late he's to mid 40s.
Okay. So that would put me, let's say, close to 70 by the time, or would have been 70. So my kids would be, yeah, I guess, yeah. If my kids are still alive, then yeah, I would
Yeah,
probably reach out. Yeah.
yeah. Wouldn't it be weird because now you're basically the same age?
Yeah. And possibly younger than them.
Y-
It
Yeah,
depends on how old they were at the time, but yeah, I think I'd still want to at least say hi.
say hi. I thought about it. I was like, I don't know if I could because you missed all that. You missed all that time with them, right?
So what, would you be Mr. Creeper and just be watching from a distance?
Probably watch from a distance. Probably would. Because it's been like 36 years. They don't remember. They probably don't even remember you at all.
I think now that I think of it, I think the first thing I would do is start creeping. So like every now and then I'd be standing by the tree outside their window and then run and hide when they're not looking and then be over there somewhere and then over there and then be like, "Oh my God, I think I've seen the ghost of my dad."
Again, do you think? Because you got to remember, like in the movie, Stallone's like, I've seen my daughter smashing on my ice for years. So
Mm.
he was conscious the entire time that he was frozen, right? So would they remember you? Because obviously it stopped happening. He basically said it stopped happening after X amount of years, right?
You know what? I'd like to think that my kids aren't going to forget me after I'm gone, whether I'm in ice or somewhere else. So I'd assume they'd be happy to see me. But you brought up a good point that we didn't talk about. He was awake and aware the whole
Whole
time.
time.
So again, back to the nutrients. So the ice hasn't frozen him in
Completely.
time and space completely. So his brain is obviously still functioning. His eyes are still functioning because he could see
Right.
her pounding on the. So the ice isn't stopping everything from moving. So if that stuff's happening, then wouldn't that mean that he'd start losing weight if he's not eating, or
Right.
his fingernails would grow, or his hair would grow? I don't know.
Yeah, cryogenics is weird then. Because, yeah, you'd think that they would have to, you're right, that they'd have to see their vitals.
And the way they did it, putting him like in a solid cube of ice, whereas other movies, whenever they talk about cryogenics, you're usually in a tube and it's just super cold inside.
Yeah. It's like a
the
gas that basically freezes you instantly.
Yeah. So it's weird that they went with the big ice cubes then.
Yeah. And they do say that they have to monitor his vitals as he's in there in the beginning. I remember them saying that. So
Yeah,
Maybe
so
he's
his
not.
heart doesn't stop, obviously. Like, he's not just completely frozen from
But if
that
your
moment.
heart doesn't stop and your brain doesn't stop, does that stop your aging as well?
Well, like,
Because like he didn't age while he was
he didn't
frozen.
age at all. Like, yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's strange. He didn't age. He came out in the same physical shape that he went in. So how are some aspects frozen in time,
But other
but
aspects are
other
not.
aspects are not?
Yeah, I don't get it. But now it's like the same. Now we're going. So we're gonna pay homage to Captain America. So he's frozen in ice. He doesn't age for what, 40 years,
Whatever it was, yeah, I don't
whatever it
remember.
was, and he was completely frozen. He had no nutrients. He had no nothing really. Nobody monitored him. They just found him in an ice cube, thawed him out, and he was alive afterwards. So I guess it's that kind of concept then. But they didn't really use that concept in the movie because they were suggesting the vital signs. They had doctors always monitoring vital signs. So
Yeah.
it's weird. Yeah, cryogenics is weird. And I don't even know if it's even scientifically possible. I don't know. I'm no scientist, but it just seems like it's not a thing. Even though you're frozen, your body should still age. Like I stick a steak in the fridge and then like 6 months it's got freezer burn on it. So you know it's aged. Right? So it doesn't. And again, I am not a scientist, so if you guys are telling me that that's not the right analogy, I'm just making conversation here. It's like I just don't understand how that's a thing, how it will work. So if you guys want to teach me something, leave comments.
If there's any cryogenic companies out there that would like to sponsor us, please do reach out.
Yes, please. So what are your final thoughts? That's basically the end of the review.
Before I get into my final thoughts, I feel like Jerry Springer with this final thoughts. There's a couple of things that I want to bring up from the movie
Okay.
that we didn't really touch base on. So let's start with, it was 96.
Yep.
Okay. And they pull him out. It's now 2032. Okay. So it's been 36 years since he went into cryo. How old would you say Huxley is?
I want to say she's 20 something, like mid 20. So she's a cop. She has a career. She's been doing it already for a few years. I want to say mid 20s to early 30s.
Okay. So Sandra Bullock was 29 in this.
Okay.
So let's go with what you just said, late to early 30s. So
Yep.
she's 29.
Okay.
Okay. So that means she was born 7 years into his cryo. When did Los Angeles change from the Los Angeles we saw to San Angeles?
See, and they didn't touch that. They didn't touch on that.
Because from what we're seeing, especially in that police station where we first meet John, we're seeing the no touching high fives, the 3 seashells. The 187 comes up. None of them know what a 187 is. So it's been, again, how long did they say since the last 187? 20 years or something?
20 years. So that would have been 2000. If it's 20 years, if we're going based on what their timeline was, that would have been 2012.
So,
Yeah.
okay. So like, it's not adding up. There's that one cop there who knows John. That's John Spartan. You know, John gets thought out. They talk. They worked together. This guy
Yeah.
was a cop back in 96.
Yeah.
So we are not so far in the future that people don't remember what it used to be like. There are people that are still alive and working, obviously,
Yep.
that were alive in the late 90s.
Not only that, now that you brought that up, Huxley was born in the 20th century. So she would have been brought up in the old cars.
It doesn't make sense to me how none of them know that world. And that's so far back. No, it's not. You were alive. Maybe you were 5, but you were alive during that.
So are we thinking, now I'm thinking about this, are we thinking cult kind of situation where everybody was possibly brainwashed?
I just think that the writer who came up with the script didn't think deep enough into it. He shouldn't have gone 2032. This should have been 2082 or something.
Okay.
Like further away, where we've gotten a generation, 2 generations, you know, where everybody from that time is dead. Nobody knows that time.
I see what you're saying. So it was too close of a timeline for it to be
close. So if that one cop who was a pilot during John Spartan's police era was alive, then the bald captain with the circle glasses, he looks older too. He had to have been alive also in 96. Like, there's just too many people in the world that would have been alive
Right.
to make this all space-like.
I'm thinking now more along the lines of everybody was brainwashed to keep it that way.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know what year everything changed in society for them.
Well, if you think about it, like the way that the technology is and stuff like that, technology like that takes decades to create.
Well,
So
they already had cryostasis, obviously, in 96,
in
which
96.
isn't something we have. So we know technologically they're advanced. But from that world that we saw with the gangs and the explosions and all the murders, that doesn't just disappear overnight.
Overnight, no.
So that, let's say that took 10 years before things started to change and society started to conform this other way.
So now we're going, so that was 96, so let's add 10 years. That would have been 2006.
2006. Now from 2006 to 2012, when Huxley's born, right? Is that
Yeah.
I think that's what we
Yeah.
said? Like, I don't know. Her parents would still be alive. Her parents would be from John Spartan's era. Like,
Right.
it just doesn't seem feasible. It doesn't make sense how these people don't know about the 90s.
Yeah.
And
Well, at least
all they,
at least a certain portion of people don't know about the 90s. Because now you're making me think too, like the cops you just said. So there was quite a few cops that were older, which was John's friend, the captain. There were other
there was that
people
chubby guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they were older, like early 60s, so they would know about the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it the writers who wrote this didn't take that into consideration because now the timeline, so literally 36 years, I don't think 36 years is enough time to
wipe
advance,
people's memories.
yeah,
and,
to advance the technology the way that it was, to erase people's memory of the 90s and to not remember how it used to be. Because like you just said, 96 was a hellish environment. Nobody's going to forget about that. Shit, we
Right.
talk about 9/11 today. That happened in 2001. That was 25 years ago.
And think about you raising your own kids. So
Yep.
we're in 26 now, and I just had to look at the bottom of my computer to check that. We're in 26 now. Do you own a VCR?
Yes.
How long ago was a VCR? Okay, we're looking at streaming, Blu-ray, DVDs.
Yeah. That was like the mid to late 80s when it was the
Right.
battle between VHS and Beta.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
think about how you're raising your kids and how much exposure they've had to the 90s, the 80s, even maybe movies from the 70s. They got a ton of that exposure. You're telling me that Huxley's parents, who were from John Spartan's 90s, that they didn't teach her, like she didn't learn, like obviously she's not going to learn about sex from her parents,
Right.
but that would all carry over.
Yeah.
It would be 2 or 3 generations before they decide to stop having physical sex.
Right. Right. So instead of it being 2032, you're right. It should have been like 20, let's say 2 generations, let's say the 2080s to like the 2100s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Granted, I get it. 22 seemed so far away at that time. But when you look at it and you break down the timeline, it doesn't make sense. It's not far enough for what they have in the movie. Not technology-wise, I mean like mentality-wise.
Because if you're looking at it when not the actual start date of 1996, but of when the movie was released in 93, that would have been 40 years time. And we're already at that 40-year timeline basically from there.
Right.
Nothing.
And it's the same
It's the
with
same
like
thing. The only thing that's changed is again the technology. We still have the same mentality.
maybe 40 years is just a magic number they use because look back at Back to the Future. He went from the 80s to 2015. So I don't know. It's around the same kind of time frame.
Right. Same with
But
going into
anyways.
the future too. He went into the 80s to what was it, 2025?
No, 2015.
Or sorry, 2015. So like that was 35 years. They made it seem as though
almost 40 years. Yeah.
they made it seem like, the technology and everything advanced so quickly and society advanced differently too in Back to the Future as well.
Yeah.
So I guess the writers are not, I'm not saying that they're not doing their job, but they're not doing their research.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe he was under a pinch to get this done. I don't know. The next thing that bugged me was the 187s, which we've talked about.
Yep.
So when Phoenix kills his first person and the alarms go off for the 187. People are like, 187? What is that? And that one chubbier cop, I think, was the one who pulled it up
Yeah.
on the thing, which he's been in a buttload of stuff.
Yeah.
Now, his age, unknown, but he's older. Same as the captain, same as the other guy that knows John. He should remember the code for 187. They are all playing dumb as to what is a 187. Fine. It's never happened in her lifetime or Benjamin Bratt's lifetime. But come on, guys. You guys grew up in the late 90s when 187s were happening all the time, according to this movie. So I felt weird that they didn't know what that was. They could have just explained instead of doing that whole searching it up thing.
And this is where I think that we have it's a theory that they had to have been brainwashed at some point for them not to know. For them not to know, again, it's got to be like a cult mentality. Maybe that's why the kimonos, it was a cult thing. Like, what cult have you seen so far in our lifetime that they all wear like those little like white kimono thingies? So like now it makes sense to me why they wore kimonos. Now it makes sense. I get it now. I got it. It was probably a whole city that was under the influence of whatever his name is, and he brainwashed them all to forget everything.
Here's my next problem. So in the earlier fight with Spartan and Phoenix lights has a torch and he kicks gasoline everywhere.
Yep.
And he's got the torch down by the gas. Like, I'll drop it. I'll put it in. I'm sorry, but okay, we call gas, but it's not. It's a liquid.
Yeah.
The gas part of gasoline
is
what's super flammable, those fumes. So as soon as he lit that, as soon as there was any kind of spark, that with that amount of gasoline around, the room should have blown up.
Yeah, 100%.
Bringing it down closer to the liquid does nothing. It could have been way up high. It's going to ignite those fumes.
Agree. Yeah.
So that was another thing that I was
practical effects, story, holes. It's a thing. We understand it. You're right, though. It was one of those things where even as a child, we knew that if you had a spark close to gasoline, even if it was just the jug sitting next to you wide open, a spark would cause it to.
Well, so I don't know how many people watch those like 911 shows, but we enjoy watching them. And I don't know how realistic they are to actual procedure for paramedics and whatnot. But on almost every episode, if there's a leak in a gas tank, they will not put metal on metal because they don't want to create a spark because that could ignite the fumes. They will, like we were just watching one earlier today, they were using a wooden post to break the window because they didn't want to use metal in case they caused a spark. I don't know. It's just, again, something that maybe the writer should have looked into a little bit more about how gasoline works.
Right.
Another thing I want to point out, the scraps. Okay, they're not necessarily super organized. We're just a bunch of people living in an underground city, which was pretty impressive for what they've got. Why haven't they taken over?
They didn't have the weapons?
It doesn't matter. Neither do the other people.
That's true.
All they've got are their little lightning rod thingies.
Right.
So if I come with a baseball bat and maybe, because we're saying that those scraps are violent people.
Right.
To the nature, right? So they're willing to go that step forward and attack, whereas the other ones are too timid and they won't fight. So why couldn't they just take over?
I think they had a conscience. It's just they just needed food and something to get by. They didn't want to be part of that society, so they didn't want to take over. They wanted to have their own world.
Yeah, but their own world in the sewers, like as bad as you may, like you don't want to live under their rule. Great, but why don't you guys get up, get out of that manhole, and take over a section of community, create walls, do something like, I don't know. I just felt
what was stopping them from leaving San Angeles?
Yeah, I don't know. What's the rest of the world look like? What does the next stage over look like? Are they all like this? We don't know.
Yeah, I guess they just made it seem that San Angeles was the only city in the world at that point. That is weird.
Sorry, I've got a couple more things. Another one was, so Phoenix also, like near the beginning there in the future, he also receives a ticket for swearing.
Yeah.
How? We find out later on that it's the chip in their hand. So the computer knows Spartan because it can read the room. It
Right.
knows that that's Spartan right there. That's Huxley right there.
Right.
Phoenix doesn't have a chip.
Yes, because he
So
escaped before he can get a chip
to
implanted.
to the AI or whatever it is scanning the room, he's blank. He's a nobody.
The AI knows that it's Simon Phoenix because it says Simon Phoenix. But again, you're right. How if he doesn't have the chip?
It would have to scan you, read your chip, but he doesn't have a chip. So how do they know? How does the computer know his name and everything? I don't know. That's just something I was confused by.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even because you're right because he didn't get the chip implanted because he escaped before the chip was ever implanted into him.
Well, then Cocteau didn't ever want him to have a chip, right?
That too.
And my last thing, I don't know if you noticed. So in the scene, they're in like a boardroom or something, or his house, Cocteau's house or something, and Spartan pulls the gun on him.
Yep.
Did you notice that the gun changed?
No, I did not.
Okay, if you watch that scene, at one point it's black,
Yep.
and the next point it's chrome, like very shiny silver.
Really?
Yeah, in the same scene, but when it cuts, it's black or it's silver. It's just two different guns.
Could it have been just the video quality changed it from
No,
chrome to black?
no, because I'm pretty sure it's two different guns. Like the barrel
Right.
looked different. I think it's two different guns. Yeah,
Hmm.
like the prop guys just mixed
Screwed up.
up maybe on what to give them that day when they started filming again.
No, I did not notice that. But that was also one of my other not favorite scenes, but a cool scene that I saw where it showed the video conference room, the boardroom that you said, where
Right.
it shows the guy's face, and as Spartan is walking, the screens are following him, and then you
Right.
see Kimono guy just looking to his right, and Spartan sees him, and then obviously the gun scene pointed to his head type of thing. But that I know I've seen that because when I worked at a specific company, I'm not going to mention, again, no sponsors, they actually have that in some of the boardrooms in the building that they have where little robots follow the person walking around. That's another futuristic thing that they basically found out. So that's kind of cool.
Well, that's everything that I had written down from my notes. Now, do you want to hear my review? What I would rate the movie?
Yeah, I want to know what you would. So this was something again that we both watched growing up, pretty much right when it came out. Because again, we were both fans of Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes, that kind of generation of action movies, horror films, kind of thing. So, what did you think about it back then compared to now?
Well, I think we already talked in our pre-watch about what we thought about it back then. So I'll just say right now, loved it. I still love it. It has its flaws, like every other movie we've done. Couple those points that I was just talking about, but it was so much action, like a great amount of action, a great amount of talking. Enough comedy sprinkled in there where they weren't trying to oversaturate it with comedy where this would be an action comedy. No, it's an action movie.
Yeah.
With some funny lines, which is fine. Stallone did lots of comedy movies. I would say in a rating, I would give it 7.9.
7.9? Like 7.9 or 7?
7.9.
Okay. So for me, myself, watching it now, critiquing it now, looking at everything, like you just said, it was just enough of everything to make it a movie that no matter where you are in the movie, you would start watching it. So like we said, with certain movies, if it came up on TV, you'd watch it, even if it started at the beginning, middle, or end. I would do the same thing with Demolition Man. It would be, for me, rating would be roughly an 8.2, 8.3. I'm going a little higher just because of nostalgia. It was a great movie for me growing up. I watched it so many times. The actors were great. The writing now, after we've talked about it, has some holes in it that we've come upon now, but it still was well done in my opinion. It just had that fight scene at the end just made it that much better. There's no other action movie that I could say that I enjoyed more for me.
Okay.
Right? In that time period. Right? There's lots of action movies out there, Predator, Rambo, stuff like that. But that was one where it brought, like you said, action, comedy, romance, all of it into one movie.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a fun movie to watch.
In 2032, we'll be watching it again just to see just to see when, if any of the stuff that they have now, let's see if Taco Bell actually does come back up on top. Who knows? We don't know, right? Maybe Pizza Hut comes back. I have no idea. I haven't seen a Pizza Hut in years, but still, maybe it might come back. Who knows, right? So we'll see what their predictions are in actual 2032 to see if they actually are correct.
Yeah, it was good. It was good choice. This beats your proposal.
I knew you were going to
choice.
say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Way out
You
of the
know,
water.
a few of my friends that watched that video, they're like, yeah, you made a really bad choice. I'm like, all right, I'm sorry, I forgot. Okay, I thought it was good. I guess not. Okay.
Any sponsors that are on, they were on the fence, and we may have lost you at the proposal. Please come back.
Yeah, please. I'm sorry. I really am sorry. So, guys, we have Instagram, we have YouTube, we have now Spotify as well. 2 dudes, 1 VHS. Show the support. Comment, like, subscribe, share, do whatever you got to do. Right now, me and Alex are doing this for fun kind of thing, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Please do comment. I do know, like, obviously we can see the numbers on views or how many listens we've gotten, and we're getting them. But please comment. Would love to hear from you guys. Anything at all. Even just a hello. Like to chat. Maybe you guys can comment and say what your favorite movie is, and maybe it'll get on our list if it's not already.
Yeah. So just, again, send us some comments. We're willing to talk.
And before we sign off, because I think we're ready to sign off.
Yep.
I'm just going to give a shout out to Mama Braga, who
Yep.
I'm wearing one of her little pins here. She sent me. I was on her podcast 2 weeks ago. It was fun. It's called Mama Braga on Unfiltered. So check it out.
All right, guys.
All right.
You guys have a good
We're all
night.
done.
We're done. Later.
See ya.